Welcome to the Rebel Rebel. I'm your host, Michael Dargie. The Rebel Rebel is a show dedicated to creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. It's a love letter to those people who think audaciously and act courageously in service of making the world a better and more interesting place.
Went right to pursuing our dream because we're like, we don't want to waste any time, and yeah,
we like to work out, but then running it's not our favorite thing to do.
Although cardio is important, so yeah we'll try to do all that. But yeah, they include like some supernatural, some fantasy, and things like that. And then so like some sci-fi sometimes.
The story of the I.Con Twins starts in fairly typical fashion. Two inseparable sisters sharing a passion for creativity and music. But what sets Calvina and Carmina Poon apart is their remarkable journey from big bank finance to running their own music brand and production company. Please welcome the I.Con Twins to the Rebel Rebel. Across the world at least 3 times and back into Calgary, I have with me the I.Con Twins. And I've got Calvina and Carmina Poon. How are you ladies?
We're amazing. Hi, Michael.
Hi. Okay, so Calvina, raise your hand.
Yes, I am Calvina.
All right.
And
Carmina,
I'm Carmina.
Excellent. We'll put like, as if, the studio magic, we'll put some names down there. So why don't we start here? Why don't we catch up? You're musicians, you're artists. Why don't you tell us what it is that you're up to?
So we are singer-songwriters and performing artists. So we write our own music, of course. And so just a little bit background intro about ourselves, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
So we were born and raised in Calgary. And we, a couple of years ago, so we used to be in banking in Calgary. So we both of us were working in the same company and then in the same role, but in different locations.
Did you ever mess with people?
We couldn't because we were in different districts. So then I think they did that on purpose, though. It's just to just so we don't confuse them.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
and then so we were in financial planning, and then so we did that for a couple of years, and because being brought up in an Asian household, we were brought up to conditioned to believe that like to be happy and fulfilled and successful, then we have to have like a steady job and corporate job. So that's what we did after graduating from university. And then so we did that. We worked really hard, climbed the corporate ladder, and then we fulfilled a lot of our goals in our role. And we were grateful of having those experiences. But however, at a certain point, we felt stuck, unfulfilled, and not really happy, in that sense.
Right.
The thought that we initially thought we would. So then we, went on a self-awareness journey ourselves and did some self-reflection, and we realized that something's missing, and it's actually our passion, and which is music. So therefore, we kind of flew across. So we took a leap.
I'll say.
Resigned from banking, and then we flew across the globe and went to Hong Kong to pursue our music career from scratch. And so now we're singer-songwriters and performing artists and releasing our music, performing, and we travel between Hong Kong and Canada for music as well. And then now here we are.
Yeah, and we're based back in Calgary in our hometown.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, man, there's so much to unpack here. Okay, so, all right. So born and raised in Calgary.
Yeah.
So, and okay, where do I even start? So what was it like going to Hong Kong for the first time and to start a music career there? That seems like holy wow.
Yeah. So when we first made that decision, it was like, kind of scary and kind of nerve-wracking as well. But we were also really excited because then we were finally taking a leap and doing something, like making a decision for ourselves, and it was authentic to who we are, and finally taking the first step to pursue our dream. So there's excitement and nervous and there's uncertainty there. But when we went to Hong Kong, we're like the first couple months, we were just like so excited. We kind of like, like a honeymoon stage where everything is new. And then there was like a lot of new things happening, but also things were like really like fast paced there as well. So we had to quickly find a place to live and then find like all these things. And the culture is completely different there as well. So but yeah, it was a great experience, and we quickly, buckled up and went right to pursuing our dream because we're like, we don't want to waste any time and anything, because we made a huge decision and we gave it a lot to do this. So then we just stayed really focused in terms of pursuing a dream. So yeah, the industry is great, it's vibrant, completely different from Calgary. So it was out of our comfort zones, but which was why it was so exciting and challenging, but also gave us a lot of growth and made us more into getting to know ourselves better and into stepping into our authentic selves, like the journey.
Awakening.
Yeah, and then walking that journey, which is what we're continuing to do right now too.
I got chills on my arms. I think this is so amazing. I have to ask because I'm a parent. So how did your parents react to it initially, and then how are they now?
Yeah, so initially our initial conversation when we want to kind of reveal the news to them that we're giving up our corporate job and pursuing music, then we felt kind of nervous because we didn't know how they were gonna respond.
Sure.
And so because I'm again like our upbringing and being an Asian household, they want that certainty and that steady corporate job for us. So when we finally brought up the courage to talk to them about it, then their reaction was actually unexpected and surprising to us. They were actually, so first of all, like we talked to our mom and dad together. So our mom was like, oh yes, yeah, just go do it. So she was like amping us to go do it. And then my dad, he's usually he'll ask us more questions. So he asked us like, so are you sure, or like are you sure about this? And he asked us, we're serious about it. And so we told him that we are, because that's what's going to make us fulfilled and happy, we believe anyways. And so then at the end he said, so if you're sure about this, then instead of trying, then just go for it. Just to put in your all, and then don't just try it, because if you try it, then you're not you're just have a plan B or whatever. So just don't try it. So just if you decide you're gonna do it, just go for it, and then just commit to it. So we're like, yay! And then So like they were definitely more supportive than we thought. So when we had a conversation, it went better than we thought.
No kidding.
Yeah. But we all, because always been so very independent and in terms of financially and things like that. So then that's why I think they were more, they felt more confident, I guess, in our decisions when we did this. So so we were very grateful to have our support from our parents. And right now too, they're still very supportive. Like we just had a show because we released our new music recently last year at the end of last year, and then they were there. They like brought the community and things like that. So they're in Calgary, and so they're very supportive. Yeah, and then through this, I guess this process from the beginning of communicating with our parents and until now, I think it's important to communicate, like what we want and what we're like, I guess the journey, to communicate our journey with them and kind of as much as we can bring them along in the journey with us. And I think I learned that that's important to have our parents understand why we're doing something and what we're doing in that sense. Yeah.
Well, so okay, why Hong Kong to start your music career? Like, what is it about the music and the passion and the thing that you wanted to share? Why did it need to start there? Can we unpack that a little?
Yeah. So when we, like, during the time when we felt kind of lost in our corporate job, we decided that we needed just some time away. So then we actually took a sister trip to,
Yay!
So we took a sister trip to a place that we've never been to, which is, we actually went to Shanghai first, and we took a little bit trip, and then we went to Shanghai, which we've never been to, completely different. And then we took a side trip to Hong Kong, which we've been to a couple of times with like our friends and family and stuff like that. But this is the first time we went there together with just ourselves. So we went to Hong Kong, and then we just felt like it was the right thing to do. Like it was just we connected. Yeah, we felt very connected to the vibrancy of the city, and then also it was like completely different from Calgary. Like the culture, like the pace and everything. I mean, there's like 7 million people there, so it's busier. So everything was completely different, and then it just kind of made us want to go for that challenge, I guess. And then so then we kind of just looked at each other. We're like, do I try to move here? We had no idea, by the way. We had no idea how to move there because at that point. But we were just like, do you want to? And then so we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, yeah, let's try. And then so we flew back to Calgary, and then we just kind of did the planning and things to see if it's it will work out and how it works and stuff like that. So
yeah, and then plus we spoke the language as well, so like in terms of feeling connected and communication wise, and then it works. So that's why.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, from what I know, and I don't know very much, but from what I know about children growing up in Asian households, is that you tend to get a lot of the culture and the language baked into you right away.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's so great. Okay. You have competed as well. Like I want to say The Voice, but maybe I'm wrong, but it was something like that, right? In China?
Yeah, in Hong Kong. We stepped into the industry by exposing ourselves to a lot of competitions, because then I think that will bring up our confidence on stage, and also experiences on stage as well, and to kind of get a feel of the industry, and also to meet increase our network, enhance our network within the industry. So that's what we did. So then we start off with like smaller ones, and then it just got bigger and bigger. So then we at one point we competed in it's called Sing China. So like the Voice of China, Hong Kong, I guess in the Hong Kong location. So then so that's what we did. And then at first we were like so nervous, because then the competition is like so big, and then there's so many talented people, artists and competitors out there. So that's what we did. We were like, so that it was an interesting competition, because then the competition was like there's so many rounds. So the first round is like, so you apply, and then it was like in like a truck, like a
moving bus,
Like they made a stage. Yeah, they made a stage on like a bus, in a bus, and then in the public and on the streets. So they were like, oh my god, that's so nerdy. And we know what that's gonna be like. So then we were like, so we're questioning ourselves at first, like, oh, should we go? And then so we're like, yeah, we're gonna go. So we like got there, and then we had to sing a cappella. We didn't even know that we had to sing a cappella. So then we sang a cappella, like right immediately to us to sing. So you're ready? Yeah, okay. So then we sang, and then we sang a cappella of our competition song, and then to a bunch of people. And then on the streets and stuff like that, and also like sponsors and judges and stuff like that, and then yes, we did it, and then we got in, and then we just kept progressed through the competitions.
Wow. So I mean, I'm blown away by just the risk. You are not risk adverse, I guess, would be a thing that I would say right off the bat. But just to jump into competition, that seems nerve-wracking.
It is, yeah.
It was.
But I think our mindset at that point was like we've never really performed or anything like before, because we really loved music. It was always been a childhood dream, but it was never something that we thought that we could pursue like professionally or anything like that. So, but I think our mindset, excuse me, when we moved to Hong Kong, our mindset was like, hey, we gave up a lot in Calgary, and I don't want to put that to waste, because then we gave up a lot, and it took a lot to do it too. So we want to put in our all, and and so we don't want to just try, right? We want to put in our all. So that's why we're like, okay, you know what? We're gonna do things out of our comfort zone, and we're just gonna go for it and see what happens. If we fail, well, then we'll learn from it, and then we'll see what we do. But we're just gonna go for it, because if we don't, then we're gonna regret it, and I don't want to regret it. So that's why I think that's our mindset then. So that's why we just did it.
Holy cow! So why? So I guess a question would be, why come back to Calgary? And I mean, I know that there's a very vibrant Asian culture here, but wouldn't it be better to have your message still in Hong Kong? Like, why Calgary?
Well, why Calgary is a great question. We came back a couple of years ago, like before COVID, before the pandemic. So then at that time we actually released we're releasing our debut single, Setting Fires, and then so we had a part 1 and part 2 to our to our debut single. So our vision was to release like one part, like part 1 in Hong Kong, which we did. We released it on commercial radio in Hong Kong. And then our vision was the second part, because Hong Kong, it's kickstarted our music journey. And then Calgary is our home, it's our hometown. So our vision was to release part 2 of our debut single, Setting Fires, in Calgary, in our hometown. So that's why we came back. to do all that. And then we planned out the the release and stuff like that. We planned out a bunch of performances and like marketing and things like that. So then that's what came back. And then COVID hit. And then COVID hit. So then everything was at a standstill. And then the performances that we planned were at a standstill and was canceled or postponed or whatever. But then we decided that it was kind of like a kind of downturn in our journey, because we felt like everything kind of like became uncertain and everything was out of control, of course. And so then afterwards we were like, so because setting fires rooted for about self-transformation. So we said, it was like, so to be authentic and to really make a better message of our song, to live our song, is to really just do it, like to keep transforming and just do it. So we're like, hey, okay, so we're just gonna release our part 2 online. So we're gonna do a live, like a live concert. We made our live concert online instead of offline, because that's out of our control. So that's what we did. We just did our own live streaming and live concert online.
Oh, wow.
Through in our home. So then that's kind of that's what we did, and kind of pivoted. Because it's important to us, and we really want to spread our message to help people during that time as well. So that's what we did, and and here we are.
Wow.
Yeah, and to add on a little bit to that too, because then in 2019 we were traveling back and forth too during that time when we moved to Hong Kong, and then so we were in Calgary too, and we did a performance here too, and then we just got really excited because it was our first time performing for like our community here and our friends and family, and then we just got really hyped there, and then so we decided that we're gonna come back. This is our home.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So let's talk about the name of your group, the I.Con Twins. I mean, I think it's brilliant naming, by the way.
Thank you.
Love, but it's like I.Con Twins. So share with me and the audience what's that about?
Yeah, so I.Con Twins stands for I am confident, and when we first created I.Con Twins, we really wanted to remind ourselves that we have to be confident in what we do, and then when we believe in ourselves and we have confidence in ourselves, then we can achieve anything. And now this is also the message that we want to convey and share with others as well, to have confidence in themselves so that they can achieve and go after what they believe in and to be their authentic selves.
Wow. And is this just, I guess, is just how you've been your entire life? These, 2 rays of sunshine, like out there taking on the world, like.
Well, we always love to like spread positivity, and we always smile, and we're always love to spread that warmth and positivity to others, like growing up as well, all our lives. But to be confident about ourselves, like we haven't always felt like so confident about ourselves that we're like, hey, we're gonna do this, or we'll do whatever we want. So I think we kind of just doing things and taking one step at a time to break out of our comfort zone, and doing things that are uncomfortable, and just taking action is what kind of builds our confidence over time. Because before, like we said, we didn't have experience like on stage. So before even stepping in those competitions in Hong Kong, we were not confident. We were not. I am confident.
That's what we have to remind ourselves.
We have to remind ourselves. Okay, we have to remind ourselves that I am confident, but it wasn't overnight. So we had to. It's like a journey. It's like a process. And right now, I mean, we can't say we're 100% confident all the time. Still, there are times, ups and downs. Yeah.
Sure. Would you? So if we time travel even further back in time to when you were just young girls, did you used to put on shows for your friends and family? Like, was that a thing?
Not really put on shows, because we were very shy. Like, we were really, really shy when we were younger. We were so shy. Like, we were like these nerdy twin girls. Like, we're just like when there's parties or anything, we would just open a book and read on the side. That's what we were like. But we always loved because I mean, growing up from an Asian household too, there's like my parents like love karaoke, and sometimes they have those too. But we never sang. Like, we just watched them and watched it. Like, we were observers. But then when we're alone, when we're by ourselves, like, we would sing. Like, we would like to sing just on our own by ourselves. And then sometimes when we're younger, we put like stuffed animals in front of us and we pretend their live audience.
Building confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, we didn't really perform or anything, except for our grandma, because our grandma, when we were growing up, she took care of us. Yeah. And she also likes to put on these like old karaoke like Chinese music. and then we were singing along. She's like, "Oh, you guys are so good. Come on." And then she gave us like, you know, those toilet paper rolls to the inside? Yeah, she gave it to us as mics, and she told us to hold on to it and sing to
awesome.
it. Yeah, and she'd be like clapping along, and she'd be like, "I-Con." She was so, yeah. I guess she was one of our first live audience.
Perfect. Yeah, that's fantastic. How fun. Wow. What happens? So we went back in time. Let's go forward in time a little bit. And what's next for you two? Like, what's the next big plan?
So we are still working on our debut mini album. That's coming out this year sometime, and then we just released like one of the singles that's in our mini album in November of 2023. It's called The Hero Inside, and so we have other tracks that are coming out, and we're working on it. Will be coming out in 2024.
Yay! What's it like? Like, do you have a label? Are you your own label? Like, what does this look like for you?
Yeah, so we're independent artists. So we don't have a label. We don't sign to any labels. We start our own company, and then so you can say we're our own label, our own manager, our own publisher. So we're doing all that ourselves, and distribution, stuff like that as well. So yeah. So we're doing ourselves.
How hard was it to navigate that world of distribution? And I mean, production, I understand. I mean, that's fairly straightforward. You're building a thing, but how do you get it out to the world, and how do you monetize it? Like,
yeah, so we how do you like distribute it and do all the publishing and things like that?
Well, I guess I'm not looking for inside secrets. I'm just wondering like how you navigated that world, because it wasn't your world. So you had to learn it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so what does that look like in your day to day?
Yeah, so we have to like you said, initially we didn't know how to do it because we didn't come from a music background, right? So, but I think our banking background, it helped us in terms of like doing the business side, having the business side of music is a business as well, right? So like managing the business side of things, and also the day to day and the servicing and things like that. So, but in terms of having navigated, we really had to do a lot of research and learn it. I think for us, like the best way to learn something is to do it, like to just really do it, and then sometimes there's things on the way that you was like, oh, I didn't know that's how it worked. I guess I'll learn it now. And then sometimes there's things that you gotta do it as you go. But ultimately it's like a lot of research, and then like just doing it, and
so talking to people sometimes.
And then I mean on the internet there's a lot of information out there as well, and then you kind of dig deep into like other people's people that have done it already, and to see what they've done and what they use and what systems they use and things like that, and then you kind of do research yourself and just to try it.
Have you got any sweet sync deals yet?
Sync deals as in what?
Sync deals like where they use your track in like a commercial, or they use your track in like the underscore of a feature film, and you get paid like billions of dollars.
So those deals are more like sync licensing, like syncing. Like those are like publishing deals. So like we said, we're doing our own publishing. So we haven't gone to that part yet.
Okay.
We haven't gone to that part yet, but hey, that'd be cool.
Yeah, me down. Are you touring? Are you touring?
Are we touring? So we are doing performances here and there. So not like a set tour right now, but we just did a performance in Los Angeles, which is our first time, our debut performance in the United States. So that was very exciting for us, and that was a great experience for us. Yeah.
How'd that go? Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was amazing. So again, at first we were like kind of nervous because LA, it's like a big community as well, and then also when we thought like, okay, we're like maybe like minorities and like people of color, so I don't know how it's gonna be like. But yeah, they were very, very, very like a very I guess very welcoming and community as well, the one that we were working with, and they welcomed and it was like they were people of color as well, so not Asians. We were the only Asians there, but they were very welcoming, and it was just a great community, and it was vibrant, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, we had a lot of fun there.
Oh, that's
definitely
so cool.
not our last time in LA.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a bit of a bucket list item too, I would imagine.
It was, yeah.
So when this album comes out in 2024, do you plan on touring it? Like, what's your growth look like?
So so we're still, there's some things
Twin
in the
powers
works.
happened.
There's some things in the works that we like don't want to disclose too much yet, but we are we will be having some exciting things going on, and then the main thing is that we're going to be creating our album, which we're going to have physical CDs that we're going to create that, which is which is a huge project, by the way, which is a huge project because we have to work with like different parties and things like that. But that's really exciting for us, and that's what we're going to be really focusing on. And then of course there's going to be other market things and shows and stuff like that. So
yeah. And so, if you like our music, then go and buy it.
Yeah. We'll put all this stuff down in the show notes, and we'll promote the heck out of it, and give the I.Con Twins a sync deal, because that would be so sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any this putting the cart before the horse, I think, but do you have ideas for the album cover? Like, what's that going to be like?
Yeah, we do. So we have our new single that came out, The Hero Inside, and so it's a neo-Chinese conscious pop. So we're conscious pop singer-songwriters, but for this album, we want to add more of our culture into it. So our aim is to connect and bridge the Eastern and Western cultures, because we're Chinese Canadians, and we kind of use our identity and then to kind of bridge the two cultures. So our new music, it's called Neo-Chinese Conscious Pop. So it's going to have traditional Chinese instruments, where we will combine it with contemporary modern pop music. So to have that new fresh sound,
cool.
and which will be like a new artistic growth for us as well. So that's what our theme, I guess, our sound will sound like. And if you listen to The Hero Inside, you're going to hear a lot of the different Chinese instruments, like the erhu, like the guzheng, like the dizi, all the different instruments in there. And then for our album, so the theme is going to be neo-Chinese conscious pop. And so the album art and things like that will be similar to that. It's not going to be the same as our single, but it's going to be the vibe, the vibe and things like that will be like that. Yeah.
Oh,
we're excited to share it, but not yet.
Yeah, not yet. It's coming. It's coming soon. Okay, I can't wait. Oh, so good. What? I'm assuming that you each have your own separate lives, as well as the lives that you have together as artists and sisters. So I guess, and it doesn't matter who goes first, but I would love to know sort of what your favorite thing to do is, like, what outside of work and music and stuff like that, or is that it? Like, talk to me.
So I don't know, say we, but I love to eat. I love food, so we always love to like explore different cuisines in terms of trying different types of food. And then we like Asian food, but then we like different I think exploring food, it's a way of exploring like different cultures as well, and having a taste of their cultures. So I love to eat.
Well, I love to eat too, but to add on to that, on my free time, I'm not writing music or singing or doing anything music related. Just like really normal things. Like, I mean, I like to read. I like to read a lot, and actually, I want to read more too this year. That's one of my goals. And then also, I like to watch like different shows. Like, I like fantasy shows, mystery shows, and sometimes watching those fantasy shows, like where it's has like Chinese fantasy and things like that. It kind of inspires me too with our music and my writing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and also with the visuals and things like that. So that's why I like to watch shows and read and things like that. That will I guess I'll relate it back to music.
Well, you're on the right path, I guess, right? Like,
what
are some of the books that you read or that you recommend Let's have a
Well,
recommended reading list.
yeah, I like the personal development stuff. So there's a couple things. So I've been reading this book called How to Do the Work, which is about self-healing, and healing kind of like your reparenting yourself and like your inner child and things like that. So it's a very,
Yeah.
very deep book. So it takes a lot of work, but I think it
Yeah.
has helped me personally as well as a person to heal. Because self-healing is, I think, is really important in terms of knowing yourself better, and then to know what areas you need to work on, and then heal yourself, and then so
Right.
that you can move forward, and then also be more authentic and more confident in yourself as well. So I think it helped me personally, and also in my music as well, and our business and things like that. Because you don't want to carry on like your trauma to parts of your life, because then it bleeds into like your business and your personal decision, things like
Everything
that. So
else.
yeah, so it's called How to
Right.
Do the Work. It's by Dr. Nicole LePera. Yeah, I think, and she creates really great content on Instagram as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, recommend to follow her if you're into.
All right.
So there's that one, and then
There's one more. Yeah, one more that we're
Yeah.
recently reading starting this year, because we really want to work on like self-discipline. So that book is The Power of Self-Discipline.
Yeah.
And it tells you, like, it really talks about, we're in the process of reading it. So it tells you about like different things of how you can, because improving your self-discipline improves your self-confidence, and then
Right.
and then also improves your, like, I guess it'll help you to be not triggered by like little things
Right.
in daily life, or things that people say or things that people do. Because sometimes, when you have some trauma or whatever in your experience or life, then it causes you to be triggered out of nowhere, and then you tend to react instead of responding to certain things. So that's
Right.
why it says that improving your self-discipline and having a self-discipline that will help you with that as well. So there's different things in that book that we're reading that's like kind of helping us with self-discipline, because I find that like right after like the holidays, and then
Yeah.
like in winter when it's so cold outside and you're stuck at home, and then sometimes
Yeah.
it kind of like affects your self-discipline. So then I feel like right now it's a very good time to read it and remind
Yeah.
yourself, and
Yeah.
to kind of help you to improve, to start the year off with self-discipline, and then it'll help, and then in hopes of helping us throughout the entire year as
Yeah.
well.
And then there's one little tidbit that I remember that I'm trying to be conscious about is that I think that in the book it's called it like the 40% rule or something. I think it's 40% rule. So it says that basically when you've heard, let's say if you're working out and you heard certain parts like, oh, I'm so tired, it hurts now, I can't go on anymore. You have to like consciously remind yourself that this is only 40%. You have to get through that pain in order to get to your full potential, that other 60%. So you have to push through it. And then, it all takes like your willpower and mentally. So that's why whatever I'm doing, whether it's working out, whether it's music and my business, I'm going to try to incorporate that into my mindset, so that I can make sure that I feel painful right now, but it's only 40%. If I can get through this pain, I can get to my 60%, which is my full 100% potential.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, well, as you're saying that, I'm just like, I try to get to the gym every day, and I ran a 5K the other day, and it, like, running is hard. Right?
Yeah,
There's some people that make it look easy, but what I found is the first kilometer sucks.
Yeah.
The second kilometer sucks. And the third kilometer doesn't suck as bad.
Yeah.
The fourth kilometer is actually kind of good. And the fifth kilometer is awesome. Yeah. And then I could feel like I could just keep going. So I wonder if that's something similar.
Yeah, it is hardly. Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not get those endorphins running.
Yeah,
we like to work out, but then running, it's not our favorite thing to do.
Although cardio is important, so we'll try to do all that.
What is okay? I mean, you did talk about eating and reading, but what is like each of your guilty pleasures? So the thing that you do just for yourself, where it's just like, I don't know, it could be binging, really crappy Netflix. It could be, caramel corn, popcorn. What is it for you?
So I have a guilty pleasure is that I like to watch this mukbang. Do you know what's mukbang videos?
No.
So it's
I'm gonna look it up now.
So mukbang videos is basically I think it's started with the Korean. Korean. So like basically it's videos of I like to watch girls do it, like girls eating a lot, like eating a lot of food. Like they'll have sometimes they'll have a theme, like a lot of I don't know, like convenience store food or whatever, and they
Yeah.
color
Desserts.
coordinate everything or whatever, like say desserts, and then they'll eat like there's small Asian girl, and then they'll eat like 2 or 3 giant cakes by themselves, and they'll just eat it, and then they don't really talk that much. It's kind of like ASMR. Do you know what ASMR? Yeah, sort of, but they're like eating, and then you hear the sounds. They just keep eating, and I was like, I think it's amazing because I can't eat that much, but I love food, so I'm watching you. It's like
the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So that's my guilty pleasure. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is a first. Thank you.
Yeah. That too. I do but let's say another one. I guess I do binge watch sometimes with like Netflix or shows. Like I like watching. Lately I've been watching these like Korean like K-dramas. These K-dramas, or C-dramas, also like Chinese dramas. But yeah, they include like some supernatural, some fantasy, and things
cool.
like that. And, yeah, and then so like some sci-fi sometimes. I like those kind of movies. It kind of like helps me like escape too sometimes.
Sure.
Because then it goes, you it's to things that it will never happen in real life, but it's kind of like a good escape. So sometimes I binge watch a little too much. A little too much.
That's
whole
why,
season in like 2 days or something.
That's why we read the focus power of self-discipline.
Right?
Bring us back.
Yeah, and I mean, there's an album that we're waiting for.
Yeah.
So
we gotta
get on that.
Get on it. Self-discipline.
But you do need to take a break for yourself.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question, and that is, as you're walking through the world, and you're thinking to yourselves, and you can obviously each have one. It's not like you share a brain, but I'm sure you probably somewhat share a brain. But what advice, or what wrong do you want to put right in the world? What would be the thing that if you could just have a magic wand and make it better, what would it be?
So much. That's a good question. Thank you. Puts me into thinking. One thing that we want to put out to the world. I really want to, for me, like I'm just thinking right now that I really want to help people and bring out to the world for people to be more kind and to bring more goodness and positivity and kindness to the world. And so then with kindness and positivity, another thing, empathy as well, to really empathize with each other, to sometimes to understand, so they can understand each other better. So then, sometimes when, like there's other people that are triggered or whatever, or reacting or responding a certain way that you don't understand why, then through like empathy, understanding, and you starting to give that kindness and positivity to people, then I think most people will react or try to respond the same same way. Yeah. So then in that sense, it's like kind of like a ripple effect, and then when everyone does that, then the goodness will spread more between each other and around the world, instead of the evilness. It's something that I hope to do through my personal life, or to through a platform or music or anything like that.
Yeah, and then also to empower people to be more confident in themselves. And it's a reminder for myself as well, but for others, because I think if you're confident, then if you feel more confident, then you can be your true self more. And I think when people are being their authentic self and being who they are meant to be or who they want to be, they'll just be happier in their lives. And then when they're happier and their cup is full, then they can go and spread that happiness and that joy and positivity to others as well. And not let the external noise or societal norms, expectations to stop you from being who you want to be and who you're meant to be. So that's one thing that we really are passionate about, and also because I think because we had done that, and then so that's why I think that, and I feel a lot happier. Like this version of myself is a lot happier than the past Calvina and Carmina. So I hope that through our platform, through our music, and just through everything that we do and our content and things like that, it'll help people and inspire and empower them to do the same, so that they can be happier and be more authentic, and then so that they can spread that happiness to the world as well. Hopefully.
Love that. Well, that's a big thing. that is no small thing. And I think it's, I don't know, outsider perspective looking in, it's really wonderful to see, um, the two of you going out there and living that truth and showing other people that they can too. And I think that that's a really powerful thing that people don't always understand, is that, you're, I don't want to put this label on you necessarily, but you're role models in a variety of different ways. But if you're out there being a role model just because you're living your most authentic self and it's good, it's like it's a force for good in the world. Like, holy Christmas, I want everybody to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then, I mean, when we were not perfect, of course, we're humans. And
What? Stop it.
we're
That's
perfect
not true.
together. But I mean, we're humans. So, like, I mean, there are days when, we're not our best self as well.
Sure.
So that's why we, like the things that we consume and the people that we follow, then we want to want them to have the same, like the intentions or goals or the spreading positivity as well. So that's why I think the things that we consume is very important to us, and then it can influence us and affect us in like consciously or subconsciously. So that's why when our off days, then we want to kind of I guess focus focus on the positives and not dwell on the negatives too long.
Right.
Long,
yeah, too long. I mean, you have to address them. It's just it's life, right? Like you can't ignore it. There's I'm going to reframe this question in a way that I don't know that I've ever done before, but if you were to give advice to other artists that are either just starting out or they've been, doing stuff for a while, but they just haven't hit any traction, they want to make it a business, but they just don't know how, what advice would you give them?
See, usually, because it's a very unique to a certain individual, because it depends on what they're good at and then what they're not good at, and then that's usually how I would give advice to them personally, because it's different for every artist. Let's say if it's someone that hasn't, like, are you asking for someone who already started, like, and then
I'm just this is a hypothetical person. Like, I can think of a handful of artists that I know that are just like, they've had varying levels of success, but they just haven't quite connected yet. And I think that you kind of hit on it already, where it's like, what kind of artist do you want to be? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And now I'm maybe thinking that that's the thing, is like, look inside and figure out what those pieces are before you even do anything else.
because it's unique to the individual and the artist, like whatever they are. Like, I mean, it's
There's
hard
no
to give
magic
one.
wand, hey?
I think something that I can think of on top of my mind right now, that's based on some of the conversations that we've had with the other artists, is that I think one thing is to kind of focus on one thing, like because then like artists and creators, we have so many different ideas. I think even entrepreneurs sometimes too, like when we talk to them, it's like so many different ideas. I like, oh, I want to do this. I have a vision. Oh, I have an idea. I want to do this. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I got a brilliant idea. I want to do this. So then sometimes it happens to us ourselves as well. So like when you have so many different ideas, and then you lack that clarity of which to focus on, and then if you execute and take action and you want to focus on all of them, then I think sometimes like you won't have the amount of success that you want in that area on all, because you can't put all your energy in like say 5 things all at once, because there's only like one of you on 24 hours within a day. So then so instead of focusing on 5 things, I think I would recommend is to like focus on one thing at a time, like one goal at a time. So then put your full energy into that one thing, and then see it bloom or blossom and connect or whatever you want it to be. Then do the second thing and then the third. So I guess having clarity and prioritize what you really want, if what's authentic to you and what's important to you right now, and to focus on that.
That's terrific. Thank you. So good. Couple things. I've heard the word authenticity a lot in this conversation, and I love it because you're clearly living it. And I guess from from that point of view, if I were to say, oh, I don't even know how to phrase this question. Gosh, I'll have to take that out in the edit.
Clap, clap.
I have this idea, like
Yeah.
sort of side note for authenticity is that every once in a while I have these moments in these shows and I'm just like, I've got this question, but I just don't know how to quite get
Frame
it. And I always thought that, for some of our subscribers, I should have like, if you're a paid subscriber, you could get access to the green room or you can get the blooper reel or whatever. And just show that it's not always, perfectly polished and stuff like that. I get the impression that, I mean, authenticity to you, you two are very unique. And I don't know that I've ever talked with anyone like you, two before, that your authenticity is, I mean, I can almost guarantee, and I haven't seen this happen, that if you made a mistake on stage, you would laugh, you would own it, and you would move on. That seems to be authentic to the personalities I see in front of me. Would that be accurate?
So yeah, when we do make mistakes, sometimes we do. Like sometimes you just get brain fog and then you forget lyrics. For us as a professional, we have to keep going. So you try not to let the audience know, because especially in a big stage, like you don't want to. Because if you don't show that you made a mistake, like usually the audience won't know.
Yeah, they'll just be singing along anyways. Right?
Yeah, so you just go on and continue the vibe. Or yeah, like you said, if we do really make like a really big mistake, we will just like, oh, well, this is live, this is live, so it's not recorded, and we're humans, we make mistakes, so yeah, we'll just go on and improv
and make a joke or
make a joke, laugh. Or tell the audience to help us sing.
Hey.
Oh, that's freaking so good. If you could, and because there's two of you, you get two of these. If you could listen to anybody on this show, this is a new thing we've started recently, is getting our guests to recommend another guest, somebody that they'd like to hear their story. Who would that be? Calvina, you go first.
Oh my.
You can swing for the fences.
Like
anyone
that we know, or
anyone, like you'd be like, I don't know, like you wanted like, oh gosh, now I've totally blanked. Maybe you want to talk. Maybe you'd like to hear the story of, I don't know pop culture at all. So there you go.
Sorry, Michelle Yeoh.
Huh?
I don't know. I just have this on top of my mind, like Michelle Yeoh, like the Oscar winning.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll
make the call. I'm gonna make the call.
Yeah. Well, I think she's amazing. I mean, she's like basically
paving the road
for. I mean, she's not a musician per se, but I think she's actually singing. She's gonna be singing in the Oz, like a musical. I think
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz or something like that. But anyways, I think she's she's Asian woman, like Chinese woman, and we've watched her ever since we were young, in this kung fu, like Chinese kung fu movies. And now she's like in Hollywood, and then at her prime, she's 60, and she's at her prime, like winning Oscars and Academy Awards.
So
and I thought
great.
like,
oh my God.
It's inspiring for us and paving the road for Asians or for Chinese.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yay.
And it's never too late.
Michelle Yeoh.
Okay.
For me.
Michelle Yeoh.
For me. What about you?
I'll make the call.
Okay. Make sure I'm there too. I'm there.
Yeah.
During the call, make sure I'm in there in your podcast somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know, but whatever.
In the green room.
I'm gonna just be like, cheering.
We do need one more recommendation, but I do want to ask, because it's something I haven't brought up and I really should, and that is representation and the importance of that. Where we're, you're seeing more Asians in the movies, on the stage, in TV. Like, how important is that to? Is it important to you? I guess that'd be a question.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's important for representation, and I think I'm grateful right now that I'm seeing more of representation, like there, like Hollywood and like even online. There's a lot more like Asian creators coming out and sharing their culture through their creativity, either through like comedy, like through skits, or through just education type content or anything like that. I think it creates a lot more awareness for the Asian community and people of color and minorities, because we've always been labeled as people of color or minorities. So like with more of them, if like the Asian creators sharing that part of our community and sharing that part of our culture, I think it's important, and I think it's great to see that more and more, and having more Asian creators like not being afraid or of sharing that part of our culture to the world, to other people. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are interested and are looking to know more about like our cultures as well, because then it's different, like it's different from other people's culture. So then like sharing that, I think, gives them more education, knowledge, and and entertainment as well, I think, in that. So I think it's really important. And of course we're Chinese Canadians and Asians as well, so that seeing that really gives us more confidence to share our culture in our way, in our authentic way to people as well.
That's amazing. I'm glad that came up. Because, and I sort of feel a little bad that I didn't ask earlier, but I just sort of got caught up in the whole thing. Because I mean, it's really sort of been a bit of a landslide lately of Asian culture in the media, and I think it's so great. We had Andrew Fung, who you probably know from Kim's Convenience and Run the Burbs. He created that show Run the Burbs, which is out now, and Simu became a Marvel superhero. Like what? So there's all this mainstream stuff that's happening, which I think is so cool. And YouTube.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, even like non-mainstream things. There's so much like social media out there that I see a lot of like great awesome content that needs more representation and more that creates diversity and inclusivity in the industry.
Yeah, and thank you for including us too in your podcast.
Oh my God! Well, yeah. So there was one more. I think that Carmina, you ended up making your pick because, like, how is this going to work? Because there's one more. I need one more person to bring onto the show.
Oh, Michelle Yeoh. Yeah. Make sure you call me.
Is it going to be Barack Obama? Is it going to be Simu? Is it going to be? I'll see if I can get.
Like, do you want some, like? Should I say something more accessible or like?
I don't care. I'm going for it. Whatever you say, I'm going to go for it.
Who's accessible? Huh? Who's more accessible?
I don't know. There's Jay Chow, and then there's Annie Loud.
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
Huh?
Jackie.
Oh.
Jackie Chan. Please say Jackie Chan. Please say Jackie Chan. Please say Jackie Chan. Please say Jackie Chan.
I said.
Jackie Chan would be amazing.
Okay. I'm going to make the call.
Apparently he's friends with Michelle Yeoh too, so
you get access to Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, maybe I can have them on the show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right. It sounds like this was meant to be.
Totally. I was not planned. No,
not at all. Okay, that's outstanding. I'm going to try. I'm going to figure it out.
Okay. Make sure you call us.
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
As soon I'll send you the emails that I get back or the phone messages.
All right.
That'd be so fun. Matt, time flies with you two. This has been so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This has been lovely.
Thank you so much, Michael. Yeah, and thank you for having this platform to give people voices and sharing people's stories.
Yeah,
that's very important.
Rebel.
Yes. Listen to the RebelRebel Podcast. Spotify.
And then
website.
Yeah.
YouTube. Subscribe.
Yeah. And then our music, coming out. Go and stream it. Yep. The Hero on the Side. Buy it.
Spotify. Apple.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Oh, you two are great. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
I've been your host, Michael Dargie, and this has been the RebelRebel Podcast. It's a podcast for creative rebels and entrepreneurs all over the world. And hey, if you're a rebel or you know a rebel, why don't you head on over to the RebelRebelPodcast.com and fill out our guest request form. We'll get back to you within 24 hours, and maybe we can share your story with the world. Don't forget to like, share, or subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcasts, and thanks so much for listening. Until next time.